Hello guys, welcome back to Global Weather Survey, and today, doing the first Global Weather Outlook, I'm going to be showing you every currently active tropical cyclone, and I'm going to be tracking them, and we're going to just see how it all plays out. It was a terrible intro, by the way, so. First we have Hurricane Lee coming off its Category 5 peak, currently at 150 miles an hour, 130 knots, and pressure of 941 millibars. Look at the NHG forecast cone. They have it major hurricane all the way through. It's probably going to strengthen back to maybe. It's probably going to weaken to about 140 miles an hour. Still still an extremely powerful Category 4 hurricane, and they said strengthen possibly back up to about 145, maybe 150. Still, and then by the end of that cone, probably a very strong Category 3. But regardless of if it's weakening, this is still an extremely powerful hurricane, and all in its track, which I'm fixing to share, should be aware of it. Before we move on to anything else, that's Jova. We have Tropical Storm Margot. I did an update on this earlier today. It's the exact same intensity, 40 miles an hour, 35 knots, and minimum pressure of 1,005 millibars. Since the last update, it has lost all of this convection, and the low-level circulation right there, it got excreted from the convection, and now new convection is popping up, trying to bury the circulation. That's Lee. To the forecast cone for Margot, they're thinking that it's probably going to stay a tropical storm for a little bit longer, start intensifying. It's probably so disorganized and sheared because of the outflow from Hurricane Lee. Because as I mentioned, it peaked last night as a 165 mile an hour Category 5 hurricane with a minimum pressure of 920 millibars. So it obviously hindered Margot from forming as Franklin did with Gert. Gert could not form and then somehow ended up reforming because Franklin was there impeding it the entire time. But yeah, they do. The NHC does think that it will become a hurricane. I'll show them all runs in just a second. We have Hurricane Jova here coming off its Category 5 peak. In the Eastern Pacific, it still looks pretty good, weakening now an 85 mile an hour, 75 knot hurricane with a minimum pressure of 980 millibars. They're thinking it's just gonna die out into storm, do a depression, post-depression, and I can agree with them because it's getting into those cooler waters. Does still have its circulation and everything very well intact for how far north it's gotten. It's at 20.1 degrees north and still moving northward. Alright, that's Jova. Time for tropical depression Yun-Yeung. It was a tropical storm raced northwards and was going to impact Japan, and it has just been meandering right here for like the past day and a half. Been spraying all of right here with rain. Or more over here in the Tokyo area with rain. It's been back when you could actually see its circulation, and there's a big plume of convection all right here. So yeah, it was absolutely pouring, and thankful that they've gotten out of that. Onto the simulated satellite imagery models. Then we go into the far out models. So you see, there's Lee, and there's Margot. I believe that's the remnants of Katia, Franklin, and Idalia. Now, Idalia and Franklin we're not going to need to worry about, because Franklin's going to be moving in Iberia, and what's left of Idalia will just be moving north and just dying. So we're going to look right here. Hurricane Lee first. We're going to go Hurricane GFS Lee. So here's what it looks like right now. You can see it moves, like I said, weakening, but then it reforms that eye. You can see it just deletes it, and then it reforms it right there. And then as it moves north, towards that trough that was opening up, the eye gets bigger, and the convection has to keep up in order to not fall back with it. Let's see what H-Worf has to say about Lee. So there it is. They think it still has an eye, which it clearly does not. But they do think the eye will get disrupted with some strong convection there. then the eye will swell up in size. Go back to the GFS model here for Margot. Uh, See, there's its circulation right there. That is its circulation. You can see powerful convection, and then right there, that is actually that remnant low that I saw that I believe is the remnants of Katia, that it's absorbing it. Then after that, it starts wrapping itself around and forms that eye, probably becoming a hurricane, Cat 1, maybe even Cat 2. That's like major hurricanes out of the picture either. Let's go on to H Wharf here for Margot. See, there it is. You can see there's all the previous convection, and there's the center circulation with that. And you can see it really swelling up and then absorbing that remnant low, which you can't see here, but it does absorb it. There is the remnant low. See, it absorbs it, then starts circulating around and around. And here it actually doesn't get its eye form, so I'm quite surprised. GFS, we're going to be looking at Jova now. You can see it still has its eye, kind of, and it's just going to disintegrate. And that's all I have to say for Jova, other than the H-Wharf model, which shows the exact same thing. Now, the GFS is the only one that has this. We're going to be looking at Yun-Yeung. You can see moves through Japan, and it's just a conglomerated mess. And then it actually tries to get its convection reform. It looks like it moves through Japan, and it kind of traces back south through the Ryukyu Islands through Okinawa, and then starts rotating. Could we see a possible redevelopment? I wouldn't be so sure about that, but we're not leaving that out of the picture here, so we're going to go to, we're going to be seeing everything here. So right there is where it usually stops. You can see Margot actually gets attracted to Franklin, and then we have two more waves coming up. These could be Nigel and Ophelia. We have this one, and then one weirdly moving to the right. That would be a weird track if that happened. It tracks through the Greater Antilles, and then ends up strengthening. Now, this is extremely long ways out. This is 16 days from now, September 24th, about noon. But it does actually show it forming or emerging off of Africa much later. It looks like it's one tropical wave that's just now moving off of Africa about 2 or 3 days from now. And splits up. And then the other one kind of follows Margot's track going up there. But this is extremely fascinating. Look, so it just comes, strengthens, probably Category 3, maybe even Category 4 there. Rams Hispaniola. It's probably still Category 1 Rams Cuba, but then intensifies over Cuba, and that's probably Category 4 right there, impacting southern Florida. Now, I'm not saying this will happen. I'm not saying it won't. But this is extremely, extremely, extremely long range out, and I would not take any grant into that. Now, if it does happen, I wouldn't be like, wait, what? But totally, I would keep your eye on this system, but still, it's a very long way out. Now into the Eastern Pacific here. You see there's Jova, strengthening, Category 5 peak, and literally nothing. On to the Western Pacific. Oh boy, so we see there's Yun-Yeung, it's 3 days from, or out, Yun-Yeung, and then you can kind of see it coming back down. Kind of. See this big, massive low pressure here tries to form something, and then look at this. Now this is extremely far out. This is 12 days from now. So again, I wouldn't put any faith into this. But then look at it. It weird forms and goes to the right. I've never seen, other than maybe Typhoon Takaje from last year. That might be one of the most erratic tracks I've ever seen. To the Indian Ocean now, nothing. Need I say more? Even though, ooh, look at that. That's weird, huh? We're gonna get up the simulated satellite imagery for this. Is that? Nope, it's just a weird disturbance thing. Whatever, and then nothing. I'm not expecting anything to happen here for another 3 to 4 months, or 2 to 4 months, I should say. And that is everything that I have to say. So, like, subscribe, comment, share. Subscribe here, subscribe on my main gaming channel, Skyline Surd, and stay safe out there in these tropics.